Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to another live edition of Draft to the Future. I am Matt. That is Ryan. And this edition of our podcast, we're going to check in on our shadow teams to see how they've been doing. If you are new to the concept, the basic idea is you start from nothing and you draft your team through the actual draft and build your team that way and only that way. So we have done two drafts and we doubled them up. So we had one in the top and one in the bottom ish. And so we've done the equivalent of four drafts, but it's only been from the last 2 years. So we kind of double that. And then we're going to do that two more times. And that should get us pretty well started. And this is the part of our show where we update you on how they've been doing and what things are looking like and kind of how we feel.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and switch it over here. And I think I've got yours up first, Matt. So if you want to go ahead and start talking, yeah.
All right. So I'm going to just go with an overview and I want to talk about now versus last time. Last time I said I was really thinking about firing myself. And I kind of walked back from that. So when we last did our podcast, I had 21 players playing games, but I only had 3, 4, 5. I only had 10 guys play average or better based on how PFF ranks players and on their grades. I had 11 contributors and 4 starters. Now I'm feeling a little better. It's a little strange though, because now I'm up to 25 guys. However, I now have 16 players at average or better. So 16 players are at average or better. And I only have 4 contributors and 5 starters. So instead of 15 guys, I got 9. But those 9 are performing better. And then I have 4 more who are getting some time and doing some good things. And then unfortunately I have 3 players who landed on IR. So that's kind of where I fell. I feel good about, I got a starting running back. Jinty's doing fine there. I got a starting tackle. Alt is my best player. I got a starting interior O-lineman with Jackson Powers Johnson. I have a wide receiver in Malik Washington, but I don't have a true number 1. And I have Kamari Lassiter, who's locking down one of my primary corner positions. Then in terms of depth, Isaiah Davis is working well as a depth piece. And I'm looking at this conglomerate of receivers I have. Right now, the main one is Tez Johnson, who I think is really earning his way onto the scene. So those are guys I feel like I have kind of figured out. And then Lathan Ransom, I don't know if he's an answer, but he's getting opportunities. Mickens, I don't know if he's an answer, but he's getting opportunities. Same thing with Princeton Umanmielen. TJ Sanders was getting in there, but then he wasn't playing very well, and then he landed on IR. So I'm going to have to see how those guys kind of play out. But that, I would say, is kind of my summary. Is that enough on that end, Ryan?
Yeah, I think from my perspective, the guys I'm looking at for you, like I think we are going to look down the line and be like, you found a really good guy with Tez Johnson. I think he's showing that, the size, he can overcome the size just because of his skill set. So I think that's pretty awesome get right there. And then from there, it's just a lot of guys that, we're getting some play time. I think we're both going to be concerned with the, they're getting some play time now because of necessity. But are they going to get that? Are they still going to be in that position next year? Depending on what happens with their teams. So, all right. So in that case, if you're good to go, I'll give a quick little rundown on mine. So here's mine. I was, feeling pretty good going into at the last checkup, and I'm still feeling pretty solid right now. So I have like this little breakdown of like the actual guys. I've got 30 guys that have gotten offense or defense snaps, and 29 guys that have gotten special team snaps. The only guy that I have that had only offense or defense and no special teams is Abdul Carter. He has not Abdul Carter, Quinion Mitchell. He hasn't played special teams. but that's because he's played 415 defensive snaps. So feeling pretty good. I've got 14 guys that are getting starter snaps, 3 that are I would consider rotational, and then nobody that are really like contributors right now. They're either rotational guys or they're getting starter snaps, and then a whole bunch of special team starters. That was a new thing I just added this today. Was I've got a lot of guys that are playing every snap on special teams. So Cam Scatteraboo, if you haven't heard of him, I don't know where you've been.
Welcome to our bandwagon.
But he is playing out of this world. Alec Ironmanner has come down a little bit, but he is, he's playing pretty solid for mid-round rookie. Harold Fannin is starting to get better and better, and I'm really loving him. Let's see. Blake Fisher has not gotten a ton of snaps this year, but the snaps that he has gotten, he's taken really good advantage of. Joe Huber got an injury start and didn't do very well in it, but it was, he got some experience as a UDFA for in his rookie season, so that's exciting. He's absolutely I showed Scatteraboo film to my son. I probably shouldn't have, because this weekend my son was lighting up kids that were 50 pounds heavier than him as a blocking running back. So I'm concerned for my son's safety now. But Christian Mahogany is my best offensive line piece right now. He is playing great for the Lions. They have a phenomenal offensive line. Jared Wilson getting starter snaps. I think that he is playing better than what his grade says personally. But I'm happy with what he's doing. My offense overall is rather weak. That's where I'm not seeing a lot of great things. But if we hop over to my defense, that's where I'm feeling a lot of positives. There's a whole lot of green and a little bit of blue on there. Abdul Carter is the grades are starting to really go up, and he is, if you've watched him play, he gets tons of pressure. Struggles a little bit against the run still here and there, but he's getting tons of pressure now. Ezraku has been getting better every single week. And he's just so fast, and he's using that length great. Byron Murphy, who had a somewhat disappointing rookie season with some injuries and stuff like that. Byron Murphy is playing great now. He is a force for the Seahawks, who have been a surprising team that I was pretty low on. Aiden Huntington just got hurt, unfortunately. Peyton Wilson has continued to be my biggest disappointment. He is an elite special teamer, absolutely elite special teamer, but he has not played very well as a starting linebacker this year. My draft crush last year in Sean Dolak got some snaps on defense for the first time this last game and played out of his mind. And he's always been great on special teams. So I'm hoping that Sean Dolak can get some more snaps later on, or at least maybe in the future they can move on from somebody else and he can maybe take over as a starter in the future. So that gives me some positive stuff there. Cam Hart's looking good. The most interesting one, I think, Josh Wallace, a guy who I drafted in the middle rounds last year as a corner, has now been officially listed as a safety. So the Rams have moved him to a safety. I don't think he was going to, with some of the guys they brought in, he was not going to see the field as a corner. So they've moved him to safety. He's gotten a little bit of snaps there and played okay. So that'll be interesting to see going forward if he's, if that's just this year and he doesn't make the team going forward, or if that's actually going to be something that I potentially have. And then other than that, like the Quinyon Mitchell, Cam Hart, playing great. Xavier Watts playing really, really solid. Loving him. My punter is doing okay, and then my long snapper, they say he's doing pretty poor. But if he's still got the job, I don't care. I just need a long snapper. So I do have a kicker.
Over for a second, move over because I wanna provide you. So I'm at 16 guys who are average or better, and you're at 23 who are average or better, regardless of the snaps they're getting. Now, some of those might be very limited snaps.
Yeah.
But my point is, the those are good indications. Obviously, you get more time, people figure out, you get on film, or maybe you're just good, and each opportunity you get, win another opportunity.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
think that's a I think that's a compliment to your team right now, where you're sitting at and the even if those guys are on limited snaps, like I'm optimistic on Tez Johnson because every opportunity he gets, he's winning more opportunities.
yeah, absolutely.
Um, I don't know if he's a number one.
No.
But I got Washington. He's a lock. I think I got Johnson. I think he's a lock. So now I just need that number one guy, and then of course more depth will always help. But what you have there is an indication that you have reasons to be optimistic.
Yeah, but overall, like I said, I'm relatively happy with my team. I feel like I'm getting more and more insight into what I want to do going forward. So I'll stop sharing here for right now, and we can kind of discuss going forward. What like talking about the college football scene right now. We're both working on our top 100 to try to or top 50, right?
Yeah, top 50.
Sorry.
I mean, I have a bunch.
I saw the look in your eyes. I was like, crap.
My top 50 is I am mid-season comfortable with my top 50, and then I have more because I'm trying to get to 50, but it's like searching for gold. I got a whole lot of sand in there.
Yeah.
I don't have that much gold.
But yeah, so we're starting to form our boards a little bit, right? As we're going, we've definitely been watching a ton of football. We've been reviewing a bunch of film, looking at the metrics. So going into next season, Matt, what are you looking for? Before I think we're going to do a mock draft here in a little bit for a few rounds.
Yep.
But going into next season, what's like your top positions you're looking at, and those top players?
So if I'm looking, because round 1 and 2 is where most of your starters come from. So if I'm looking at rounds 1 and 2, then with those 4 picks, I'm targeting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 4 picks, and there are 8 positions that I really want to come out of here with: quarterback, edge, wide receiver, linebacker, corner, defensive interior, interior O-line, and offensive tackle. Now, a lot of that is going to depend on who goes where. For instance, right this moment, if I don't have Mendoza, I take Ruben Bain and call it a day, because I think I'm going to get one or the other. So that's part of it. Then I get down in the lower half, and there are like 6 guys at those positions. Do Tate or Lemon fall to me? Because that would make me very happy. But those are the only 2 I take in round 1. But I wouldn't be opposed to CJ Allen or Sonny Styles. And then in round 2 for wide receivers, then I can look at a Jacoby Lane or Chris Bell or Zachariah Branch if they fall there. Defensive interior, the consensus board is really low on Miller and McDonald, and I'm very high on Miller and McDonald. Round 1 and 2, Ione, the guard from Penn State.
Yeah.
I would happily take him somewhere in those spots. And then I'm open to Fano, and then other outliers. Mateer, is he gonna go in round 1? Because I'll take him if he is. And then believe it or not, the tackle from Texas, Gooseby, is starting to impress. And I am starting to look at Proctor differently. That's all I'm doing, because I was low on him. I was even lower on him, and now I'm like, okay, I think you're starting to figure it out. I think you're starting to grow into that role. So that's not necessarily my board, and it's really subject to change. But that's what I mean when I have all these positions. I mean, in a dream of dreams, I get a quarterback, I get an edge, I get a wide receiver, and I get a linebacker. I just don't know that the board is going to fall that way, particularly with how picky I am on the guys I want. I'm not, you were looking at Dart, and we're not going to take a guy we don't believe in just because we know he's going to get a chance to play. And then if he plays and he doesn't, do well, like we didn't gain anything.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it's at. But those are the positions I'm invested in, because I know edge, quarterback, and wide receiver, you got to get round one guys. So those are the ones I'm really kind of dialing in on.
Okay. Yeah. So for me, I feel like, I've kind of locked in my edge room right now. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. But in round one, I'm mostly focused on getting a quarterback and then either a wide receiver, corner, or interior or O-line. And if you haven't done shadow teams before, the way offensive line works is you can move them one position either way. That's the way that we are doing it. That's the way that a little group of people that I know do it. So if I get a center, which, I don't see a center going round one probably this year, but if I get a center, I can move him to right guard or left guard. If I get a left guard, he can be a center or a left tackle. So you can adjust them a little bit that way. So I'm open to all kinds of positions from there, but from a quarterback position, I'm not even really paying attention to Mendoza because I know right now you're probably going to get him before I do.
If I do,
if you get him, yeah, because again, if it's your first time watching the channel, the way we do it is he and I cannot draft the same people, and because we're still in our first 4 years, whichever one of us, he's a Niners fan, I'm a Bengals fan. So whichever, like if the Bengals end up with pick 18 and the Niners end up with pick 28, that means he gets the first pick because his second pick is lower. So I pick with the Bengals, he picks with the Niners, and then after our first 4 years, we'll make some adjustments. But that's what we're doing for our first 4 years. So most likely, I'm going to have a pick somewhere in 4 or 5 range, probably. And so I'm not expecting to have a shot at Mendoza. I could, there's Dante Moore, there's Ty Simpson, but these are guys that don't necessarily have a ton of starts. So I'm a little worried about the quarterback position just because of lack of starts. I could wait a little bit and get a guy like Cole Payton out of North Dakota State, who I absolutely love and think he is a guy that if he gets to sit a little bit, learn behind someone, could be really, really great. With Nussmeier playing somewhat banged up is what I'm hearing. I still have a lot of respect for what Nussmeier does on the field. So if the consensus is high on him, I would be potentially comfortable taking him. But then when we get into the wide receiver corner, which I think are the most likely other positions that I'm going to take, wide receiver, again, we like a lot of the same players. So Mekhi Lemon, Carnell Tate, Chris Bell, I would take in round one personally. And I think he's going to continue to show that. From the corner room, Mansour Delane, love him. Have a feeling he'll be gone by the time that I pick.
You need to take him with your first pick.
Yeah, I would have to take him with my first pick most likely. I don't know that I want to do corner that high. But Chris Johnson from San Diego State's a guy I really like as well. Keith Abney, Colton Hood, but those aren't really Colton Hood and Keith Abney are probably round two. A linebacker that I would take as well, Arvell Reese.
He scares me so much.
Depending on where the Bengals fall pick wise, which if you saw Flacco Mania this past week, if he can keep us afloat for a while, the Bengals might not be picking as high as I originally thought. I thought I was going to have another top 10 pick for a second. But let's say we're picking in the teens or we make the playoffs and we're picking in the 20s, Arvell Reese probably not going to be there. So, yeah. But yeah, those are my main positions. Going on a little bit later, I'll probably definitely look at interior defensive line again. There's some guys like from Oregon, Mari Washington, Cade McDonald from Ohio State. There's edges that I would like. A personal favorite of mine that I've been following, Cleve Lubin. It's phenomenal from Louisville. He has been, creating havoc all season long.
Still ranked in the 300s on
Yeah.
the consensus board.
I think that will change, in my opinion. From the offensive line, we talked about a lot of the same guys. We have a lot of the same views, like you said. So another guy that I really like is Brian Parker, the second from Duke.
I don't think you like him as much as I do.
I know. And he I think is going to be a center or a guard in the NFL. I actually was just watching before we came on here. I was watching a little bit of the Draft Professor, and they had a former NFL offensive lineman on their scouting offensive lineman. He was talking about Brian Parker and how he thinks he's going to be a center guard swing type guy right off the bat when he gets to the NFL, and thinks he's smart enough and has the skill set and the athleticism to make that jump. So I think that'll be interesting. But yeah, I'm not really interested in tight end running back very early. I do really like Jeremiah Love, but I don't think I'd take him high enough to where I'd have. I don't think I'd be willing to take a running back that high.
You don't need to.
Because Scadaboo is doing so well. You could convince me if Joe Royer falls a little bit, I might take Joe Royer as a tight end because a little homer pick there with my Bearcats. But I think it's going to be a very interesting year. I could take another safety again, but it's going to be an interesting year to see. There's so many players. A lot of the players I like the best, I also think are very, very likely to return to school.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
So I think that's going to be the hardest part about planning this year for us, is who's going back, and we're going to wait a little bit. Later on this year to kind of figure that out, obviously. But all right, do you want to pop on here and we'll do a quick little mock draft. All right. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to give Matt pick 2 and obviously the Niners pick. And I'm going to do I'll do pick 5 and the Bengals pick. And so we're just going to do 3 rounds. And kind of we'll talk through, Matt. You got to tell me if you need me to switch positions and stuff like that. But we're going to talk through some of the picks that we would potentially do. And this is mid-season. This is so far away, so it's going to end up looking nothing like this. But it's fun. It keeps us thinking about who we're interested in. So we'll go ahead and hit start. And Ruben Bain Jr. went first.
Yep, so that means I take Fernando Mendoza.
All right, very easy. So Matt is taking Fernando Mendoza. All right, so now it gets to me. I'm at pick 5. Ty Simpson went. TJ Parker went. I do like Dante Moore. I'm not
17
sure.
17 starts, Ryan. 17 starts.
I'm not sure that I'm comfortable yet. I could be by the end of the season.
I don't care. I don't care if he wins the Heisman, national championship. 17 starts. That's the only number I need to hear. It has almost never worked.
Yeah. So if it were this situation, I feel like I'm gonna be between. I don't know if I would take Arvell Reese that high. You know what? I think I'm just going to make my safety room elite because both of the other safeties that I had, Del Pettis and Damani Richardson, neither one of them are really getting that many snaps this year. They've pretty much lost their jobs that they got because of injury last year. So I think in this case,
look at Woods.
I would, but I think that I I think I'm
Yeah.
just going to stick with Caleb Downs.
I mean, it's not a bad pick. You have
No.
a very good problem right here.
So Caleb Downs, pretty happy about that. And then now I get down here. Now, in this case, this would be an interesting one because I've got Mansour Delane, I've got Carnell Tate. So if I look at wide receivers, I'm comfortable with several of these round 2 wide receivers. I'm less comfortable once I get out around like these top 30. I do like Chris Johnson, but I'm much less comfortable with the corner room. So I'm taking Mansour Delane there.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
That puts you at pick 22.
All right, what do I got there? Well, I got Maui Noah, and I got to at least look at him.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like Lemon and Tater off the board.
Any positions you want to see?
Well, I mean, I got to be honest. I'm staring Maui Noah in the face. Let me see what the edges are looking like. What's going on at edge?
Edge, we've got Joseph's is down there.
Yeah, give me Maui Noah so I can so I get a I got a right tackle, I got a left tackle, and I can call that a day.
Yeah, and that's you again now. So let's see. You got Joseph's right there.
Yeah, and I have a higher. Well, it's tough. Joseph's. I do love Joseph. I do. I do love him.
You want to look at wide receiver?
Well, it's him or Miller is really what I'm looking at. Wide receiver. I kind of like that. We're going 3 rounds deep, right?
Yeah.
I got a guy I'm hoping gets to me in round 3.
Okay.
So I love Joseph's productivity. I don't like his height and I don't like his weight. There's nothing at all about Christian Miller that would give you pause. Let me see if I can talk myself out of Joseph's and into Miller real quick. Okay. I mean, Miller, 6'4", 305. His run stop rate isn't awesome. I don't suppose McDonald is up there, is he?
He is. K. McDonald there.
What?
With his pass rush win rate. Yeah, his pass rush win rate's not great, but his run, he's much better against the run so far this year.
Yeah, 13.3, 7.7 pass rush win rate. It's not terrible. Man. No. It's so hard because I like so much about Joseph's. I liked him early in the season. I was high on him in the preseason, and I had him number 3 on my preseason board as an edge rusher. He's got a 19.6 pass rush win rate, 25 pressures and or sacks. He's got a 9% run stop rate as an undersized edge. Yeah, give me some Joseph's. Give me some of that Joseph's.
All right, Joshua Joseph's it is. All right, so for me, I've taken Caleb Downs. I've taken Mansour Delane. So now I'm mainly looking at offensive line and wide receiver here is what I would be hoping for. So if I look at offensive line, ooh.
Lomu's right there.
Well, yeah, Lomu's right there. I don't know that I can pass on Lomu. Isaiah World, I like Gooseby.
Tiernan is climbing.
Yeah, at this point, I'm going to take Caleb Lomu. Because again, hopefully if I hit on my quarterback this year, then my intent is to go with a wide receiver with my first pick, hopefully next year. Because there's going to be some freaks coming out next year. So, and then this is me again, and I might have a shot at wide. Ooh, Caden McDonald's still there.
Caden McDonald staring you in the face.
Oof. Yeah. I don't know that I could pass Cade McDonald if he's still there at 43. Because I don't think there's any linebackers that I'm really excited about. And I'm kind of interested in linebacker in round 3. Yeah, I'm going to go Cade McDonald.
This next one, me.
Yes.
Let me see. There's CJ Allen staring me in my face.
Yep.
Very high on him. Let me see the wide receivers. And what pick is this? I can't see it.
This is pick 54 for you.
Pick 54.
You got Jacoby Lane, CJ Daniels, Nick Anderson, Antonio Williams, Malachi Fields, Eric Singleton, Eugene Wilson, Eric Rivers, Bryce Lance.
So it's 54, and I'm looking at Jacoby Lane.
Mm-hmm.
But CJ Allen, I'm so high on him. So I'm only a little pausing because once you get into these rounds, it's really a crapshoot on where these guys are actually, whether or not they're even going to get to play. So I'm kind of wondering, like, it's not how much I like them. It's, do I think they're going to get a shot? Let me look at interior line too.
Yeah, and to go to what Matt was saying too, like, you can go back earlier in the year and look at a video that I did that talked about draft position compared to consensus board. And in the first round, you're normally going within like the players are going normally within 5 spots of where they were on the consensus board on the NFL mock draft database. And in round 2, it gets to be about a 30 pick swing. So they go plus or minus 30. And then in round 3, it starts to get a little closer to that 60 range, I think. And then it goes chaos and on a day 3. So the reason that matters is because where a player is drafted often determines like the leash that they are given, right? Like if a guy's drafted in round 7, and then next year, even if he played great, next year they draft a guy in round 2. That guy in round 2, good chance he's going to get the starts. Good chance he's going to be able to take that spot. So that's something to consider when you don't have free agency to play with. So what are you thinking here at pick 54?
To be fair, I'm really waffling between Slaughter and Allen. But if Allen falls to the 3rd round, I don't really know that he's going to get play. But mid-round centers, especially in my opinion, Slaughter's the best center in the draft. Maybe Allen will fall because I take them both. But I can't pass up on Slaughter. It's too much value.
All right, so Slaughter it is?
Yep.
All right. All right,
Is
and then this is you again.
Well, did Allen make it?
Allen is gone. Let's see. The top linebacker remaining is Whit Weeks.
Well, so I got Jake Golday right there, and that's not the worst thing in the world to me. Let me look at those wide receivers.
And looks like I think the Dolphins have an extra 3rd round pick, so you might get an extra one in here, so that's fine. Wide receivers got Nick Anderson, Antonio Williams, Malachi Fields, Zachariah Branch.
I like him way better than 147.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and take Golday.
Golday.
What pick am I at?
You're at 66.
Oh, and he's like 104?
108.
Okay. I'm at 66. Okay, let me look at the whole board then.
All right. You got some safeties here. You've got Dominic Orange, the D tackle. You got Chandler Rivers and
right,
Keith Abney.
Keith Abney.
Tight ends. A bunch of tight ends. An edge, Derek Moore. Linebacker, Whit Weeks. Edge, Zion Young. Trevor Gooseby's there. Caleb Tiernan's still there.
Go ahead and give me Abney because I'm higher on him.
All right. I do like me some Keith Abney.
So it's good value either way.
All right. So just to recap mine right now, I've got Caleb Downs, Caleb Lomu, big on the Calebs, Mansour Delane, and Cade McDonald. So I have not added a wide receiver yet. And this might be one of those where I'm like, dang it. Because I'm not super high on a lot of these guys. I do
I
like
am.
it. I do like Antonio Williams. Mm. Yeah, that's tough. I think I might grab my guy Witt here. And just because I don't want to be a jerk to you, I'm not going to take Jake Golday because I have Jake Golday slightly above Whit Weeks, but I'm going to take Whit Weeks.
This would be one of those things where Jake Holiday is the kind of a guy who's like, well, sure, he's not going to go until 90 to 100, but is Matt or is Ryan going to let me wait that long?
Yeah, that's why I took the last year I took Harold Fannin Jr. my first pick of the second round, and I'm happy with that because he's been playing great. But
so just a little insight into that because it's not going to help. You want to say things like, well, we overdrafted and we really shouldn't do that to each other. If you look at the 25, 20, 24 and 25 rookies classes and you rank the tight ends, Gunnar Helm is 7, Harold Fannin is 8, and they're currently 18 and 32, and they're both above Loveland.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to say like, well, we reached and we shouldn't have done that because we could have got someone else. But then we wouldn't have gotten those guys, and those guys are performing.
Yeah.
But that's a very risky deal. Is this me?
No, this is me. Oh, no, this is you. This is you. Sorry.
Now, is this the fake one? Or
this is the fake one, but that's okay.
Yes, it's weird because it's a fake one. It's not one that I'd really be able to get.
Okay.
Yeah. So, go. What pick is it?
74.
74. Go to safety.
Safety. We got a little Keon Sabb, Earl Little Jr.
Yeah.
Saki Wheatley.
What do they have? Taff. They're terribly low on Taff.
And they're low on Neil Warren, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. So just go to the main board. I mean, Rivers isn't bad at all, and I do need a nickel.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going down. Just scroll down a bit. Ooh, Zion Young.
Yep, he's climbing up boards quite a bit.
Yeah, give me some Zion Young.
Okay. Yeah, he's producing, and I think he's SEC. All right, so this is me now. I think I think he's going to end up higher, so I'm taking him here because I think he's going to be very good. Brian Parker. So I'm going to take.
That's another one where I'm like, see, I hate you a little.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to do the right thing and waiting to take him when he should be taken. And Ryan's like, yeah, but I know you want him, so I'll take him sooner.
Well, that's one of those too. Like, so it depends on, like, let's say the consensus is 110 there, right? Yeah.
So you're going to go in the 70s.
40 away. Like I can take him there. I can justify that according to the research. So, all right. So we've got you again here. And if these guys are rated this low, I think they're probably going to be back in school.
Yeah.
But what are you looking for here?
Scroll down. Ah, man. Oh, man.
Look at that. Brennan Sorsby, my Bearcat, all the way up to 102.
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, Jake Golday's still there.
Yeah, I'm going to take Golday now. I'm done messing around with that.
Take Jake Golday. Let's
Oh,
look at that.
I
That
might
should
have
be
made a
it.
mistake. Yep, it's not going to show us though because it's too many.
Okay, I'll scroll down because I can show the full results. That's annoying. All right, so Matt ended up with Fernando Mendoza. So you've got your quarterback locked down.
Mm-hmm.
Then you end up with Francis Mauigoa. You got a tackle locked down. Then we get into round 2. You get Josh Josephs, for your edge room. You added Jake Slaughter to shore up the middle of your offensive line. You added Keith Abney, and then with your bonus pick, you added Zion Young, and then you added Jake Golday. How are you feeling if that's at this point in the season? How are you feeling if that is your haul?
I would feel like I got what? I would feel like I got 4 starters. And then I got a couple guys with upside. And I obviously I'd have high hopes for more than that because you'd want 6 starters out of any draft. But when you're talking O-line and linebacker, you usually end up waiting 3 or 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So I might have some great guys right now who just haven't been plugged in.
Yeah, and this is about to be the year. So for context, if you haven't watched, we're both right around 50 something players right now. So going into next year is going to be the first year that we potentially have to start cutting some guys, which we have some guys that are going to be easy cuts. So like that's not a huge issue right now. But that starts to become a concern because we can't necessarily wait 3 years for a guy to be good. Unless we are really confident that he's going to be good. So this is going to be the first year where we have to really start worrying about the position that we take. Because if you've got 8 offensive or 10 offensive linemen already on your roster, and you take 3 more offensive linemen, you better be cutting some of those offensive linemen.
Yep. But that's why I went quarterback edge. Because if you take them in round 1 and they go in round 1, they're going to start right away. You're going to have a very good early indication on who they are.
Yeah, and you did the research. That a good NFL draft on average is 2 to 3 starters. If you get 2 to 3 starters for a draft, and since we get 2 picks per round, we're looking at we want 4 to 6 starts. Like a good draft is 6 starters in the shadow draft world for the first 4 years. So that's kind of what we're looking for and hoping for.
And we, just to give that context, it's starters for your team. I would feel vindicated if, like, let's say I cut, I'm really high on Wyatt Milam right now. I think Wyatt Milam is a starting guard, and he's just waiting his turn. But I can't. I might not be able to wait. So, I mean, sure. If Wyatt Milam goes and becomes a starter down the line, then it's still a good reflection of my eye for talent, but my team's not any better. So I want to make sure that I'm clear on that because I've had discussions with other people. I'm not disputing that selecting a good player who's playing well for another team still means you saw a good player. But if they're not helping my team, what does it matter? That's my challenge.
Yeah.
So those are things I'm kind of looking at. So taking key positions. That's kind of why I kept falling in wide receiver. And I want to be fair to this wide receiver draft. There's no Jamar Chase. There's no JJ. But I think there are a lot of Cups and Nakuas and Devontae Adams. The depth from pick 30 to pick 100. Honestly, there might be 20 guys there who are great. For the record, I love the wide receiver out of ASU. I love Tyson. But he does not have a very far grade that's very different from Elijah Sherrod, who I might be able to get at 100. And I personally don't see the fall off. And I want them all to have amazing careers. But rather than once I know I'm not going to get one of those top guys, then I'm more willing to wait. And I know next year I'm going to get 2 first rounders, and there's going to be a wideout there, especially if I get Mendoza. If I get my quarterback knocked out, I can finally get that number 1 wide receiver that I know I need.
Yeah, so for me, for my draft, this would somewhat be a bit of a nightmare scenario for me, because while Downs and Delane are great, right? I did not get a quarterback or a wide receiver in round 1. But I do think I've got 2 starters there. Then I get into round 2, and I've got Lomu, and I've got Cade McDonald. I think I've got 2 starters there. So I'm feeling pretty good about those picks. But again, I said 2 of my biggest needs are quarterback and wide receiver, and we're into round 3, and I haven't touched either one. And because of the people that were there, I ended up going on linebacker Whit Weeks, and then another offensive lineman and Brian Parker. So I have
kind of
gone
deep online already, aren't you?
Online. I've got a couple guys starting, but I have a lot of guys that haven't seen the field, or guys that got starts last year but then now aren't seeing the field. So I'm kind of waffling a little bit on offensive line. I'm like, I still have 2 to 3 people that I need to replace. So I am now in a position where like I haven't taken a quarterback, I haven't taken a wide receiver. In this realm, honestly, like I might be grabbing a guy like Brennan Sorsby. I might be grabbing a Cole Payton here. But I'm now going into next season most likely needing a starting quarterback and a starting wide receiver again. Which again, I think, every next year is the best quarterback class. So there'll be guys to get the following year, but I've put myself in a tough situation going into the last year so again, this coming year will be our 3rd draft, so that would mean I'm going into my last year of 2 draft picks in each round without a number 1 wide receiver and a number 1 quarterback. And that is not like if I have to go into next year into our last year of 2 picks with one of those needs, I'm okay. But if I have to go into both of those, I'm a little like, even if I've got the greatest defense, I'm going to go around looking like the Browns and can't do anything. Yeah. But yeah, so that's what we got for now. So some things that we have on the horizon. If you haven't already seen it, we just did an interview and put a little story that Matt put together with Landon Robinson, who is a defensive tackle from the Naval Academy. Has the most sacks of any defensive tackle in the FBS right now. He's the highest graded pass rushing defensive tackle in college football right now, in the FBS at least. And just a phenomenal guy. The interview was great. We had a blast interviewing him. And this coming weekend on Saturday, the full interview, the uncut one, the 30-something minutes long, we'll be releasing as well. So make sure you check that out. He is a guy that I am pretty confident is going to be drafted this year, especially if he keeps playing the way that he is. And he is on the Feldman Freak list. So when he gets to the combine, he's going to blow it out of the water. We both were kind of like shocked talking to him. He looked just like Aaron Donald. Like that's the type of build this guy is. So that's out there. It was like I said, make sure you check that out because the service academies definitely don't get as much love a lot of times from their star players. But he's one of those guys that kind of lives up to the hype, I think. On the horizon for other things that we've got going on, we're still working on trying to get other interviews and stuff like that. We have someone that we're going to bring on later in the year before the transfer portal hits to talk about guys from like FCS, Division II, Division III, what guys we need to look out for, where they're like, who should transfer, who you're expecting to transfer. So we're gonna have someone talk about that, and we're looking for other interviews as well. But the next live that we have is on November 4th, and on November 4th of 2025, that is when we plan to have our top 50. So we're going to go through and talk about our guys that we currently have. That's getting closer to the end of the season. And then we'll still have our player updates as well. But that's what we've got for you. You got anything else, Matt?
No, just kind of looking forward to looking into things. At some point in time, I think it's going to be interesting. I'm going to be curious to see. I really thought that 7 quarterbacks were going to go in round 1. And I think people are working really hard to convince themselves to take a quarterback in round 1 and ignore all the historical data.
Well, I mean, there's going to be a lot of teams that are potentially looking.
Yeah, and I don't deny it. You got to find a guy, but that doesn't make, it doesn't mean that there's a guy there just because you need a guy.
Yeah.
And, what's going to happen are the number of teams, the first mock draft I've seen from like one of the big services, I think it had 5 quarterbacks going round 1. And only one of them were on the radar. No, 2, because Sellers went. And I think at some point in time, or maybe even, I don't know if you want to kick it around, but I am utterly convinced. For me, it's Mendoza, and then is Mateer gonna actually be a guy? Because if he is, he becomes an option for me. I have Mateer as the number 2 quarterback, in my opinion. Okay. But I don't want to go through the Shedeur situation again.
Yeah.
And yeah, sure, Simpson might go, Dante Moore might go. I don't care. I'm not drafting a guy who didn't have 20 starts. Like,
what happens if Shedeur comes in the last 5 games of the season and wins 4 out of 5 for the Browns?
Do they commit to him as their starting QB?
You won't be able to know that. But what will that do to you as a shadow drafter?
Well, it won't change much because right now it's Mateer. It's not Mateer. It's Mendoza or nobody. And maybe Mateer gets into the question. That's not my regard for Mateer. Is the NFL like gonna take him round 1?
Yeah.
So I mean, I want 3 quarterbacks, and I have a practice squad guy and a guy who got kicked off a team. So it doesn't hurt me to do that. Now, if Shedeur comes in, lights it up, and the Browns are like, he's our guy next year, then, I'm less, I might look harder, Ruben Bain, because if I have a starting quarterback, I have a starting quarterback. But if I don't, then I got to do that. But if Mendoza is already gone and Mateer is not, I saw one guy mock Mateer to the Browns. I thought that would be the most Browns thing ever. Yeah, you get rid of Baker and replace him with, Baker, but,
yeah.
but sure, why not? Although I see my comp for Mateer is actually Brett Favre. But I would only waver if I knew I had a starting quarterback, because then I'm like, no, I only have 2 more classes. I need starters. And so I'd be more interested in filling other positions that don't have guys. But short of that, I would, I got these 2 guys. And there's hope, because I don't think, at least the analysts I'm listening to, they don't want Mendoza. I don't know why, but they don't want him. They're like, no. And I'm like, okay.
Ty Simpson's the new guy. Ty Simpson's the guy that everybody's saying is going around 1 now, or for the first pick overall now.
Yeah, and again, if we're talking 27, then Moore and Simpson and Levitt and Sellers, like, they're in the conversation. But I'm not taking, like I wish him the best. I hope the best. And Simpson is playing outside his mind, and he deserves all the credit and all the hype. But I don't draft quarterbacks who have fewer than 20 starts.
So here's the problem, though, is that I feel like we're going to run into a situation now in the NIL world where guys that stick with the school that they come to are just not going to have a chance to get that many starts because other players are going to stay in longer because they've got that NIL money.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got guys that stay in and are like they stay in the big school. They're stuck behind multiple other starters or at least one starter that stays in for the NIL money. And then they've only got 1 year of eligibility left or 2 years of eligibility left, and now they have to make a decision. And they don't even have a chance to get that many starts. So I think we're going to see going forward potentially fewer and fewer guys. I think there's going to be two different types of guys. There's going to be guys that were stars for a year, and then there's going to be the guys that went to like 4 schools and got a bunch of starts.
I think what's going to happen is like, I don't know. I'm sure Alabama just got a 27 commit, and I know why. I think this commit that Alabama just got is everyone in Alabama saying Ty's coming back. And then they'll have a quarterback competition. The guy who loses will transfer out, and he'll go and that'll be the journeyman guy who has to work his way up. Because you're always going to have the Miamis and the Oregons who are kind of portal guys.
Miami's starting quarterback next year needs to be Lenore Sellers.
Yeah, I mean that that would really help him out. I'm curious to see what Sellers does, especially with Napier getting fired.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, Sellers. The
Lagway.
I was talking about the Florida quarterback.
Yeah, Lagway.
Here's what he does, but Lagway. But I think Sellers does need, like, what he needs are receivers who can catch and linemen who can block. So does South Carolina show him, like, we're bringing these guys in? Yeah. We're taking care of you. Or does he go, but, like, if not Miami, where?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because that's kind of Miami's niche lately.
Yeah.
And so I think the transfer portal will be big, and that initial, like, winning that job, like Notre Dame, looking at it through the filter you brought up, you have to start CJ Carr.
Yeah.
You have to, because this other guy might be better now, but if you want CJ Carr next year, you better start him this year.
Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely interesting too. There's what's his name? The guy from North Texas, the coach down there. Mm-hmm. It's like the quarterback whisperer. It's going to be interesting to see his next guy, because I personally don't know that Drew Mestemaker is going to still be at North Texas next year. He's a guy I could see being highly sought after in the transfer portal world if he goes to it. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm going to get to, I already told you, but I'm going to get to see your QB1 here November 1st. I get to go and watch Mendoza. Got some free tickets to that game against Maryland, so that's going to be fun. Don't know where the seats are, so don't know how good I'm going to be able to see them, but we'll find out. But like and subscribe. Make sure you go watch those videos, those interviews. If you have a guy that you want us to try to reach out to, I'll shoot my shot and try to get him on here. So make sure you put that in the comments or tag us under a certain player. But we're just happy to talk football with y'all. And from me and Matt, thank you for joining, and we will talk to you next time.